Hi everyone, welcome to IsisParenting's Breastfeeding Chat and Learn. My name is Nancy Holtzman. I'm a mom and baby nurse educator and a board-certified lactation consultant and board-certified in pediatrics. I'm here in IsisParenting in Needham, Massachusetts, and joining me today as the moderator in the chat room is Katie, and Katie is the mom of two, and thanks for being with us. And let's see, so today, Happy World Breastfeeding Week. I'll start off with that. It's the 20th annual World Breastfeeding Week, which is a global event raising awareness for breastfeeding throughout the world, not just nationally. And here at ISIS, we always celebrate with a variety of blog posts, special events. This year, we're excited because we launched our first human milk bank depot at one of our locations on the South Shore in Merchants Row, Hanover. Working with the Mother's Milk Bank of New England. So that's a new thing for us that we're celebrating and excited about this year. Milk banking is important because this is where the sickest and tiniest preemies in the hospital get breast milk if they're not able to receive milk from their mother. So if their mother has medical issues or complications, or sometimes a baby that's born at 26, 27, 28 weeks gestation, so early in the mom's pregnancy that sometimes moms aren't able to produce the milk for the baby. And so in those types of situations, the babies really do much better when they do receive human milk, but it needs to be banked human milk, just like you would get blood from screen donors at a blood bank. The hospital is not just going to do an informal milk share arrangement and collect milk randomly from helpers. So anyway, that's not what we're talking about today, but we do have an article about that on our blog that you can read about. And actually, let me type something in. Oh, you've got it there. Great, Katie. And themissionlist.com. If you go to this site right here, you'll see today an article that I wrote about milk banking in general, not just about our breast milk depot. But that would be an interesting article for you. And Human Milk Bank of North America is always looking for more donors. When you think about blood donors, everybody knows that the Red Cross and hospitals need screened blood donors. Well, you can be a blood donor from age 16 to age 65, and as long as you fit into a certain criteria and you don't take certain medications and so on, you're eligible as a milk donor. But think about how few people really in the population are eligible as human milk donors. A lactating mom who fits into the certain criteria, who also has a surplus of milk that she's able to donate to the milk bank beyond what she needs for her own baby. So it's a really special opportunity if you are someone who has that ability to take the time, the determination, the commitment, and the necrotizing enterocolitis, and really only giving them human milk is the one thing that can really make a big difference to prevent them from getting this infection. Okay, but that's not what we're talking about. Today we're talking about 5 scenarios and groups of products or tips that will help for each of these things. So my theme here is best for. And the reason I'm highlighting products, which is not something I typically do in this webinar, is because in honor of World Breastfeeding Week at ISIS, we always do a big breastfeeding sale. And so all of the breastfeeding products, including the Medela breast pumps and nursing bras and everything we have relating to breastfeeding, is 20% off. And for ISIS members, it's 30% off. So imagine getting a $400 freestyle pump at 30% off plus free shipping. It's a pretty damn good deal. So that's why I'm talking about products today, which is not my usual method. So today, starting off, best for positioning. You notice here, Susan is sitting in our lactation consult room in a nice upright position. So I'm not a fan of rocking chairs if you're having sore nipples or latch difficulties, because it does make it a little bit harder to position the baby. So nice support, upright position. And recently I had a mom use a footstool and say in the class, she said, I always thought these footstools were just one more thing you're trying to sell your time latching her baby. So it's really true that a footstool really can help. Without a footstool, moms tend to hunch over the baby. If you're on a tight budget, the footstools aren't expensive, but if you're on a tight budget, You could make your own by taking 2 or 3 phone books and duct taping them together. I don't know how many more years phone books will still be printed, since everybody can just use their smartphones for that. But while you still have phone books in your closet, you could make your own footstool or a second footstool if you like, if you have a nursing chair upstairs. So a footstool really will keep your body angled at a better position for breastfeeding. And if you're having pain or latching issues, the My Breast Friend nursing pillow really is the ideal pillow because it provides back support, and it's high enough and firm enough and snug enough so that the baby doesn't sink low or roll into this crevice between mom and another type of pillow. A lot of people use boppies, and that may work well for you, but a lot of times the boppy is a little too soft or compresses down too flat, especially over time. It doesn't fit every single person's waist size, and babies really do typically roll and kind of get stuck in this little crevice between the mom's belly and the boppy. So I really recommend the My Breast Friend if you're having breastfeeding challenges. That's the one. It has this little pocket on it too, which is handy. You can stick a water bottle in there or your phone or the remote control to the television. And then another thing I like to call out is the need for wrist support. So you can see in the right picture here, it's just a rolled up receiving blanket. I call those sausages. And if you have a couple of rolled up receiving blankets or cloth diapers, you can secure them with a piece of Scotch tape and leave them around the areas where you typically sit and nurse. And those will come in handy just to, once you get yourself in baby position, well, tucking one of these little sausages under your wrist or maybe under the will make you so much more comfortable. I have a whole detailed webinar on breastfeeding tips for positioning in all different positions, the typical positions, plus a lot more unusual positions. And if you still haven't figured out how to nurse laying down on your side and nurse on both breasts without turning over and turning the baby over, then watch this webinar and you'll learn how to nurse laying down. That makes your life a lot easier as well. Okay, so here's some products that are the best products, in my opinion, to help speed healing. And I do have a little 3-minute video on YouTube where I talk about these products in particular and how to use them. But if you have sore nipples or cracked nipples early on, these 3 products used together can help you feel much better a lot more quickly. The hydrogel pads on the left-hand side, so there's the box with the package of them, and then underneath there's one that's unwrapped. That's the thing that looks kind of like a rectangle that's being peeled back. These are like a sheet of thin, sticky gelatin, and they're very cool and soft and a little bit squishy, and you rest it over your nipple, and it provides a nice healing environment for skin to begin to regranulate. It creates the healthy growth of the tissue. It feels so good against your skin, and it also prevents re-injury. So a lot of times as a nipple is healing, it sticks to the bra pad or it sticks to the bra, and every time you take it off, it's kind of like, you know, pulling a tiny little scab off a wound. So this really provides a healing environment, protection, and comfort when it's up against the nipple, and you would just put that on after breastfeeding, and then your bra or your bra pad would hold it in place. And then on the other side, you see something called TheraShells, and these are also called Hobbit shells or breast shells, you may hear them called. But what these are like little plastic domes with air holes in them, and they actually rest over your nipple and under your bra. And what these do is allow air to circulate all around your nipple so nothing is rubbing or pressing or pushing on it. And that allows your nipple to stand out nice and happy in space and have a nice environment where it's not all folded back on itself, particularly for moms who have protruding nipples that are sore. As soon as you put your bra pad and your bra on, you're really smushing or folding that nipple back into the breast tissue. And it doesn't have, you know, it has a crack or a crevice at the base. It doesn't have that opportunity to heal. Now, you can't use the hydrogel pads and the TheraShells together at the same time. So my recommendation is to alternate the 2 of them. These plastic shells are actually comfortable to wear, and they're not extremely visible under clothing. You might think that they'd be very obvious, but they're actually not. Some women do find it makes them leak a lot when they use these, but not everybody finds that. And then, of course, down below you see Lanolin cream. Lansino is a very well-known brand. Medela has a brand called Pure Lan. And Lansino or Lanolin is a derivative of a wool product. it supposedly is hypoallergenic, so very rarely people that are allergic to wool could have a reaction to lanolin. But you can, when you're using lanolin, it's very thick and sticky. It's even thickier and tackier than petroleum jelly. So put a little, like a smaller than a pea-sized blob on your fingertips, and then rub your finger and thumb together until it liquefies like oil, and then gently dab it on your nipples. So you don't want to smear it on real thick. Okay, and then a couple of other things that are helpful for speeding healing would be a visit to a lactation consultant. So here is one of our consult rooms in one of our centers, and there's a mom and her newborn are meeting with the lactation consultant. Boy, if you have sore nipples, I think one of the best things you can do to speed your healing is to get a little information, support, and help, and get a sense of what may have caused the soreness or damage to begin with, and a feeding plan and ongoing support, someone to answer your questions. So look for a board-certified lactation consultant in your area. If you're in the Metro Boston area, come into one of the ISIS centers, and we'd be delighted to see you. And then in the little blue square, you see something called a nipple shield. And I put that on with a caveat, which is that these are not to be used casually. Sometimes moms are given nipple shields in the hospital and sent home. And it's really, in the hospital setting, can be used as a quick fix. The mom is sore or the baby's not latching well, and they can put a nipple shield on and put the baby and the mom together, and it looks pretty good. It looks like they're nursing so that they can be discharged. But a lot of times moms are discharged home with a nipple shield and no clue or support as to where to go from there. They've just put a Band-Aid over the issue, and they have no follow-up or supervision as to what they're supposed to be doing with the shield or to move away from the shield. And also, when you are using a nipple shield, we usually recommend what's called insurance pumping, which means that in addition to breastfeeding, doing pumping after breastfeeding to really ensure good stimulation and emptying to the breast so that the milk supply comes in very strongly. So a nipple shield should be used under advisement and with ongoing support from a lactation consultant, and not something that you just walk into the store and casually pick up off the shelf. Okay. Katie says I'm starting to sound a little staticky. Anybody else think, is that better? Let me know if I'm sounding better. Okay, and then let's see, in June, I did it was terrible, 3 weeks worth of sore nipples. I had made a list of all of the more common reasons I could think of why women have sore nipples, and then I grouped them into categories, and then I covered them one after another. I came up with a baker's dozen of sore nipples, so 13 reasons for sore nipples, and there were so many reasons and so much to talk about, I had to spread it out over 3 weeks. So if you go back and look at the webinar archives, you will see 3 weeks of sore nipple discussions, weeks 1, 2, and 3, and then under the listing, you'll see what I spoke about in each one. So for example, week 3, I spoke about vasoconstriction and vasospasm and clogged nipple pores and so on. So if you are struggling with nipple tenderness, that's where I would send you. Okay, moving on to our stroll through the product aisles. What is helpful for everyday comfort for the nursing mom? Because if it's too tight or if it's compressing on your breast tissue, you can end up with blocked ducts, never mind discomfort. And a lot of people think that nursing bras are going to be, kind of dowdy, ugly, industrial. They don't have to be that way. Bravado, in particular, makes some really nice fitting bras that are attractive for a nursing bra. Certainly, 15 and 20 years ago, when I was doing my breastfeeding with my kids, to think about finding a black nursing bra, forget about it. But of course, now they come in all different colors and black and much more attractive. But the Bravado Bliss nursing bra, which is pictured here in the blue package, I think is our best seller here in the centers. It's an attractive fit. It's not an underwire, but it does have a lot of support. And then I'm a real fan of these nursing tanks. They weren't around when I was nursing, but I really can't imagine a better product in terms of allowing you a lot of flexibility. Turns any shirt into a nursing top because you can drop the flap of the nursing tank and lift your shirt up, but your midriff and side and your muffin top are still covered. So, in the warm weather, you can pretty much just wear your nursing tank as a tank top. In the cold weather, it's an extra layer, and it both keeps you covered and warm, but it also offers you, cover for your belly, which is nice, the sides, and so on. So I think these nursing tanks are really a great thing to have in your wardrobe. And then another thing I pictured here up on top with Medela is the sleep bra. And a lot of moms are surprised to find that they really do want or need to sleep in a nursing bra or a bra of some sort, even if it's just to hold the bra pads in. But if you wear a more supportive bra during the day, you don't want to sleep in a heavy support bra. It's not very comfortable. So sleep bras are really stretchy, thin, light support. They do give you a little bit of support, but they also are there to just hold your bra pads in place and so on. And then other things to mention are bra pads, and bra pads come in two versions. They come as disposable, which are sort of the paper ones, and they come as the washable cotton ones. And people have personal preferences. The disposable ones sometimes do a better job wicking away the moisture and keeping it away from you. A cotton pad doesn't usually pull the moisture away. There are some bra pads that will have cool max against your skin, so what's up against your skin doesn't stay moist. But some people that have sensitive nipples or get chafed easily prefer the soft cotton bra pads if they're not heavy leakers. Sometimes also people that do a lot of leaking, it's often in the early days, and that does resolve with time. Web and videos that talk more about these products if that interests you. Okay, best for expressing, pumping your milk. And many of you that are regulars here know that this is something I talk about all the time because I would say that about 99% of my clientele express breast milk. My favorite products, as many of you know, is the Medela Freestyle Pump paired with the Simple Wishes Bustier. I don't recommend giving your child a bath while pumping, nor do I recommend these types of bath seats that this kid is in, but it's a great example of your ability to multitask. So she's using two of my favorite things, the Simple Wishes Bustier, which does allow you to pump, double pump, hands-free and hands-on. Another of my favorite products for expressing is the variety of flange sizes that are available. So you need to make sure that the flange you're using is the right size for you. Much like a pair of shoes, they come in different sizes. One size does not fit all. And if you're trying to walk a mile and your shoes are too small, it's not going to go very well. So same thing, most women use the size 24 breast shields that are sold with the Medela pumps or the Hygieia pumps. Probably about 30% really do much, much better with a larger shield, maybe 40%. So do know that the flanges do come in different sizes, and the size 27 is probably the most popular size. If the 24 feels a little too snug, or if it makes you sore when you're pumping and it's not because you're pumping for too long or with the vacuum turned up too high, if you have to press and squeeze your breast while you're pumping to get the milk to flow, if your baby's gaining weight fine and you sit down to express and you're only able to express drops and you can feel that your breast feels firm with milk, chances are you need a larger flange or breast shield. Okay, I think we might be almost done with this topic. So best for cleaning your pump parts and for storage. Everybody needs a bottle brush with a little pacifiers, your teether toys, and so on. You want to have a bottle brush that's just for the baby and the pump stuff, not for your dishes and so on. But regular dish soap is fine, and scrub with warm water and rinse well and then air dry, and that really is sufficient. Things don't need to be sterilized every time they're used, but they should be washed well. And a lot of people are aware of the little shortcut where you can refrigerate and reuse your pump parts a couple of times throughout the day before washing well. There's two products underneath the bottle brush I'd like to mention. These are Quick Clean products from Medela. On the left-hand side is a package of Quick Clean wipes, and these are food-grade antibacterial wipes that allow you to clean your pump parts and any hard surface, actually, like a extra saucer tray or a high chair tray or a table, conference room table where you might set up to pump. So you can clean your pump parts with these wipes, and then go ahead and pump without rinsing. So it's great for people that travel a lot or people that need to pump in a variety of different settings and don't have access to refrigeration or soap and water in between pumping sessions. I would recommend keeping those in your pumping bag, the quick clean wipes. And then on the other side of those are the quick clean bags, and some of you may be familiar with these. These are kind of heavy-duty specialty plastic bags that you put your pump parts in, you add a certain amount of water, put it in the microwave, and it essentially autoclaves your pump parts, your bottles. Some people will use it for things like pacifiers and teether toys and so on. But these are two inexpensive, really useful products from Medela. Let's see, milk storage bags you'll need. So people like different brands. Is to freeze your milk flat, just like you see here. When you freeze your milk flat, then you're able to stack it up nice and neat, and it takes up much less room in your freezer. If you freeze your milk in a cylinder shape, you're going to end up with little, gallon-sized Ziploc bags and tubs and containers, and the milk will be taking up a lot of space in your freezer, but not very efficiently. The other benefit of freezing your milk flat like this is that it will thaw much quicker and easier. So when you take it out of the freezer in this plank shape, you'll be able to put it in a bowl of hot water, and it's got more surface area. It will thaw much quickly. Oh, okay, good. So I did, I made it through the 5 areas I wanted to highlight products. Again, just to call your attention to the little corner thing, in World Breastfeeding Week here at ISIS, all of the nursing products, almost really every single product I showed you is on sale for 20% off, free shipping over $75. And if you are an ISIS member, if you're local and you're an ISIS member, you actually get 30% off. So in particular, nursing bras would be a great deal if you already know, a certain nursing bra size, style, color that you like. Now's a great time to order a couple of those. And if you don't have the Simple Wishes bustier that this lovely lady is modeling, I cannot recommend it enough. You need to be able to double pump hands-free so you can have your hands on your baby to keep your baby content if you have a newborn in your home pumping next to your baby, hands on your laptop or your snack or your iPhone if you're at work, and hands on your breasts, because while you're pumping intermittently, you will need to do some massage and compression. Okay, so that was I hope I didn't sound like a sales pitch, but I did want to celebrate World Breastfeeding Week and, let you guys take advantage of the discount. I'm going to get to these questions. I see a whole bunch of questions here. Just as a reminder, while I've got this slide up, you can follow me on Twitter. I tweet and talk all the time about babies, breastfeeding, development, you name it, and answer lots of questions. Follow IsisParenting on Twitter as well. And add this webinar to your calendar for next week so that you'll remember to come back and help us spread the word. So every week we have to report in how many people attended and how many people were from outside Massachusetts and so on. And we got to make ourselves look good by having good attendance so that we keep doing this every week. Katie, would you be so kind as to switch the decks over for me, and then I will start answering these questions. Okay, first question says, I've got a question, a nipple shield question. I've been using a nipple shield for 13 months now. Is it impossible to get her weaned off it? Nothing is impossible. 13 months is a long time. I'll just mention, there's more to this question. Hold on. She never had a good latch, and I have one inverted nipple. Okay, so 13 months. I would say couple things about nipple shields. Sometimes I meet a mom with a very young baby, maybe 3 weeks or 4 or 5 weeks old, who's very, very discouraged about still using the nipple shield. Now, the nipple shield definitely can be a PIA. When you have a young baby, they fall off, the baby's arms hit it, and it falls off. They get lost in the sheet. Sometimes the baby's screaming, and you can't find a nipple shield, and so on. So there is definitely, an extra component that's annoying and stressful. But for certain people, when it's used correctly, for certain people, it is like the tool or the bridge that allows them to breastfeed. And so given the option between, a baby that will come to the breast and only scream, or a baby that will settle in and latch on and transfer and remove milk, I would choose the latter. Moving away from a nipple shield, typically we like to try to do that fairly early, and it's usually done as a slow transition where moms can try a variety of different things, and I'm sure none of this is going to come as news to you, and I'm sure that you've tried most of these things already. But things like when the baby is hungry, starting them off with the nipple shield, letting them nurse for a minute or two, get relaxed in a rhythm, get the milk flowing, and then try to take them off the breast, remove the shield, and put them back on. Sometimes people will find that they can use the shield intermittently for a period of time and then move away from it. Old-fashioned suggestions are to begin trimming the top of the shield more and more, and we don't recommend that. But usually it's just a question of sometimes latching with or without the shield and not creating stress for the baby if you try to get them latched without the shield and they don't latch, not to persist in creating a lot of anxiety and fighting at the breast over that. Okay, next question. A little off topic, but my daughter will be 11 weeks when we're flying to the grandparents. Any suggestions for breastfeeding on an airplane? Tight spaces worry me. Yeah, that, it's tight. It will be tight. Here's a suggestion. Go first class. Just kidding. Wouldn't that be nice, though? I would say don't bring your nursing pillow. I see a lot of people sometimes think they should bring their boppy or their My Breast Friend, but use what you've got available. You may be able to put your diaper bag under your thigh, use a folded receiving blanket over your thigh, ask the flight attendant for a couple of those little small paper pillows or a folded up blanket that you could use as a nursing pillow. That might help. If you're going to be traveling with your partner or a family member, maybe you want to have the window seat and then have your partner in the seat next to you. So that might provide a little bit of discretion and privacy for you. If you're self-conscious or private, you could use one of those nursing cover-ups, but there's no need to use one. It's just that's really for your own personal comfort, if that makes you feel better. Remember, with the airline seats, you can usually bring that armrest up. Another thing to remember is that babies, when their feet press up against something, a lot of times they're compelled to push off with their feet, which makes them kind of arch and pull away from the breast. So if you find that your baby is nursing and keeps arching and pushing away, try to angle their hips so that their feet aren't pressing up against the window side or the armrest. I think it'll go well. Also, don't worry about nursing your baby at takeoff and landing. Everybody will tell you to give the baby a bottle or the pacifier or nurse on takeoff or landing because of the baby's ears. But at 11 weeks old, the middle ear and the inner ear is still so small that they're not going to experience pressure change. And usually young babies really like airplanes at this age because it's a perfect soothing and settling machine with all that white noise and vibration. So it'll go well. On our blog, Katie can post the Parenting Starts Here blog. We've got several articles. I think I wrote most of them about flying with your baby, and that will help for general tips. Here's a question from one of our regulars. Could you talk about nursing throughout pregnancy, please, when you get a minute? We're expecting another one in mid-January. Yes, I can, but I did do this. I did a webinar on nursing toddlers. Actually, that would be the one for you. I did a whole 30 minutes on nursing toddlers, which if you're nursing through your pregnancy, you are probably nursing a toddler, and then also talking about tandem nursing. But just so the general public know, if you're new to nursing and you're not familiar with this, when you do become pregnant, it does have an impact on your milk production. Pregnancy increases estrogen levels in your system. The placenta produces estrogen, and estrogen competes with prolactin. So estrogen and prolactin don't get along. That's why we don't use regular birth control pills with people that are breastfeeding, because it will reduce the milk production. And in fact, for some moms, one of the first main symptoms they notice in their pregnancy is nipple pain, breast sensitivity, and then a decrease in their milk production. And then they discover that they're pregnant. During the first trimester, milk production will decrease. And the milk does, as it begins to decrease, it does change the flavor a little bit for the baby. So common knowledge or common understanding is the milk tastes a little more salty. And some toddlers don't mind. Some toddlers and some parents will use this as a slow, gradual nudge for weaning. And others will continue to breastfeed through the pregnancy and then do what's called tandem nursing, meaning nursing the newborn or the new baby first and then the toddler after. And then gradually, as the newborn isn't a newborn anymore, tandem nursing typically means the children can nurse together. And that's an option too. Let's see. But breast sensitivity, fatigue, and lower milk supply are things that you can anticipate. And nursing during pregnancy does not mean that women are at a higher risk for a miscarriage or anything like that. That's also sort of a common misconception. But I would recommend you watch the Nursing Toddlers webinar because I go into a lot more detail there. All right, here's a question. Milk supply drop. Yeah, I think I covered that. So the next two questions I just opened, I think I covered already. The first mom with the nipple shield had added, I tried offering her the nipple shield, the nipple without the shield. She thinks it's funny and grabs it and puts it back on. That's a smart girl. I think she's telling you, you know. I guess what I would say is, you know, at 13, nothing's impossible, but at 13 months, you know, this is how you've been breastfeeding, so it'll be an adjustment to help her move away from it. Try when she's drowsy, that could help. Try getting her latched on when she's half drowsy, slip the shield off and put her back on and see how that works. But, you know, she's got her wits about her. She's grabbing the shield and slapping it over your breast. And then for the next comment was back on the pregnancy and milk supply thing. This mom wanted to know specifically about milk supply drop. Is there anything I can do in the soreness? You know, efforts to try to increase your production when you're pregnant are a little bit counterproductive because your body is producing estrogen and estrogen is actively working to fight the prolactin. So things like, you know, fenugreek and nursing and pumping more often to try to boost supply and so on. You know, when you are breastfeeding and pregnant, with the new baby. So you want to be thinking about, I said that wrong, partly nourishment for the toddler and mostly nurturing for the toddler. So you want to just be paying attention to your own nutrition and your own fluid intake and making sure you get the rest you need, which, you know, for any pregnant woman should be doing, but it's harder when you have a toddler. But you will have a much lower volume of milk, so that's something to take into consideration when feeding your toddler. So offering other sources of milk or calcium or protein, like yogurt or cheese or cow's milk if you're interested in that, and so on. Because I know this baby is 19 months old, Mama says. Congratulations, by the way. That's be a beautiful beautiful age difference too. Okay, here's a question from a mom who's a favorite mom of mine who has twins and went back to work this week. And mom is pumping 3 times a day while she's at work, and she's worried that she's not getting enough milk to keep up with her twins. Yes, drinking tons of water. Okay, well, you know, there's an adjustment time, and there's anxiety, and there's adrenaline, and the more you know, stare at your breast and measure the milk that's coming out, again, you know, the more anxiety it creates. I would just kind of, you know, go into the mindset. I know you know, these babies are 6+ months old. They're eating solid foods and so on. I know you've got some milk in the freezer. Just, you know, you've been working so hard, doing such a beautiful job feeding these twins exclusive breast milk. Do what you can do. You're back at work. You're pumping 3 times a day. You're nursing your twins when you're at home. You've got milk in the freezer. If they like the solid foods, you know, move forward with the solid foods and see what your pediatrician says in terms of, you know, when can you offer yogurts and things like that. Usually around 7 to 8 months you can offer yogurts, and then 8 to 9 months you can start offering pureed protein foods like pureed chicken or turkey or beef. So just giving them really high quality, nutritionally dense, caloric solid foods twice a day when you are at work, and maybe once a day on the days that you're home nursing, plus the expressed milk, plus a little bit of the frozen milk from the freezer, you're going to be golden. You're an awesome mom. She says she's blushing. Okay, it is 12:36. Let me take a quick peek through the general chit-chat room. I've answered all the questions that came in. I saw we had some of my favorite people here and some of my new favorite people here. I hope everybody comes back next week and tells your friends. Happy World Breastfeeding Week to all of you, because nurturing your baby and nourishing your baby, however you're doing it, is the most important thing. And I hope that you take pride in all of the hard work and effort that you are doing. And I wish you a wonderful week. This Friday and Saturday is what's called the Big Latch On. Katie can put the link up on that. I think it's biglatchon.org, maybe. I don't know. But here at IsisParenting, we'll be celebrating Friday morning from 10 to 11 in Arlington and Merchants Row, and on Saturday morning from 10 to 11 here at ISIS Needham. I believe I'm staffing that event, hint, 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 Kara. And the Big Latch On is an international event that's held during World Breastfeeding Week to bring community support to breastfeeding to the forefront, get media attention, and so on. And basically at 10:30, we just, it's kind of a little countdown. 10:30, everybody that's there with a nursing baby breastfeeds, and we take a count, and then every year we try to break the world record for what's called synchronized nursing. It's kind of silly, but it's a lot of fun. And that's Friday and Saturday. And if you're not near one of our ISIS centers, then go onto the website, click the location link on the Big Latch On, and you'll find an organization or a community that's holding one of these breastfeeding groups near you, I hope. So thanks, everybody, and I'll see you back next week. And Katie, thank you so much for moderating.